Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for another episode of Stay Connected in the Roaring Fork Valley. Welcome to ELN, Elevation Lifestyle Network, and today we are at Treadz with the Z at the end for the Zalinskis. And today we're with Erin Zalinski and the proud owner of Treadz. And Erin, tell us, how are you today? I mean, what's going on?
You know, pretty good. Today's a good day.
So there's bad days too?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you're just riding this wave of uncertainty. And when the sun's out, it definitely helps kind of elevate the mood.
Yep, it does help.
Know?
So, just to get started, I want a little bit of background. How did you get into the retail business? Where did you come from? I mean, where did you land in Glenwood from?
Yeah, so originally from Michigan. My husband John is originally from Chicago. We met, he was living in Carbondale, I was living in Aspen. Oh. And we met through, shared interests and developed a bit of a relationship and then kind of went from there. And retail's been his dream. He always kind of wanted to have his own shop, and I really love him. So I support him in what he's doing, and we kind of just started small and it grew into something that we're pretty proud of.
Well, that's really cool that, he had a dream, but you really support it because you've come in with a lot of different experiences. It seems like you've come in with the experiences that really have helped together in growing a business. And so
Absolutely.
What is your background?
So, both coming from the Midwest, you start working when you're in your double digits, 10, 11 years old, You're doing something. And so we've always had a lot of different jobs, and a lot of them have been for people that have kind of an independent entrepreneurial mind. Mm-hmm. And so you learn a lot because you don't just have one job description. At different times in my life, I've had the opportunity to learn some small business bookkeeping, retail buying, different things like that. And so, just that whole basket of experience, I think really prepared us for being able to come in. And it also makes you very adaptable because you don't kind of set your plan for one thing and stay that course. Right. You kind of zig when it's necessary. And so
Zig?
Yeah,
zig and zag.
Another Z.
The Z again. But yeah, I mean, when you started out, you guys were mainly into shoes. Yep. Which is a personal thing, right?
Super personal.
Yeah, and I never thought of it that way, but I just thought of it. And it's one of those things where, and then you grew from there, but how did you go from shoes to, apparel and that?
Well, shoes is our hook, and I think shoes is the thing that has anchored us and allowed us to stay relevant as things continue to change and evolve. Being a sit and fit shoe store with a decent selection in a small town, I think is super valuable. Prior to us opening up, there was a business called Dragon's Boot and Shoe that had been in Glenwood forever.
I remember them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they closed their doors, and it had been about 5 years from when they were open to when we looked at opening. And I think that was just enough time for people to recognize what a void that left. So they were ready to embrace a new shoe store, and we were there to fulfill that need. Mm-hmm. And then, to grow into what we have now, it basically came from wanting this space and also wanting to be able to work together and not have to have outside jobs. Mm-hmm. And you have to have a business of certain size. Yeah,
this is an incredible location. This used to be, when I first came, it was like the J.C. Penney's building or something wild, and you've really done some incredible retrofitting in here, but keeping the warmth and the feeling of history a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of has this like lofty warehouse feel to it, which I think creates a really cool blank canvas to do whatever you want.
So then, your apparel. You really are focused on where you buy things, the vendors, how they're made. Yep. So that makes it even more unique in a way when you go to purchase apparel. Tell us about that process of being able to choose your vendors.
Yeah, I think when your business reflects your values, there's just an innate passion, and then that's tangible to the people who walk in your doors. Mm-hmm. And so, we pretty much hand pick everything, and so it's nice to know where things come from and why they are made the way they are, and then be able to tell that story to somebody who maybe didn't know that they cared, but now that they know, they do care.
They do care. Yeah.
And so I think that's being owner operators. That's kind of a gift that we have, is that we're able to connect on both sides of things. We work with people on the other side that we choose to work with. And it's a true partnership. And so, and then again, that just goes back to kind of everything that's happening right now. When you feel like you have a true partnership on the other side of the table, there's a sense of comfort because you know that you're both trying to get by and you're in it, together.
Right.
And so you'll do what's necessary to make sure that you both come out on the other side.
Well, give us an example of one of the products that are here that have that sustainable feel and a connection with you guys.
Yeah, so we, a couple of years ago, picked up a brand called Tree. They're out of Canada. It's a lifestyle brand for men and women, has kind of a younger vibe. Their primary kind of core philosophy, they plant 10 trees for every garment that they sell. Those trees are planted in areas that have been deforested to kind of get back in and rehabilitate the environment. And a lot of their materials, they use hemp, they use organic cotton, they use a product called Reprieve, which is recycled water bottles. And so, within their business practices, their designs are up in Canada. A lot of their manufacturing is in Bangladesh and areas like that, but because they have such a connection, they're able to provide jobs to areas where working conditions aren't great and see that they have, good working conditions and good opportunities. And, in a global economy, it'd be great if everything was made in America, but it's not how we live anymore. Right. We couldn't grow enough food to feed the world if everybody just grew in their own backyards. We can't produce enough products to fulfill needs if we just only do it regionally. And so I think recognizing that need and addressing it with a high demand for doing things ethically, I think that creates a better world.
Well, let's talk about the sign of the times and kind of what's going on this time of our lives, and how I look at a retail store like yours is even tougher to survive than a restaurant that can still do takeout.
Right.
And so what is it that Treadz is doing to stay in front of their customers?
We have developed an online store, so we now have a site where it's not just an information site, you can actually shop on it. And so that's been something that we started as soon as we had to close our doors. We got that up and going. And then just staying connected socially through social media, through email and other ways, not so much to continue to just only sell things, but also to just stay connected with our people. We've kind of developed a culture, and we have a lot of people in the community that I think feel connected to us, whether it's what we provide, not just goods, but we support a lot of nonprofits, and we host a lot of events and things. And so I think just to stay connected and not feel alienated, still kind of keep that kinship going. I think that's just as important as the commerce. There's really not a way that I could sell enough online to keep my doors open. So I need to be able to have this space available, but having that online resource, I think, will always be helpful even after things resume, whatever that looks like. And so part of what we're doing is just kind of creating this infrastructure and just giving ourselves more resources, more ways to reach out, more opportunities to stay connected. Because Glenwood's a great town and people come here and visit and they have a good experience. We're kind of like a tourist attraction because stores like this, we're not really that around that much.
That's right.
And so
you're not a franchise.
Exactly.
I got this in Glenwood and Treadz. Yeah.
Exactly. And they had a conversation with John, who's the owner, and they both, used to go to the same park when they were kids or whatever that is. And so, these kind of things I think just keep people, human beings like to be connected to other human beings. It's just our nature.
Right. So tell me about some of the things that some fun things that you put out there in this time. You're creating right now. It's a time to be creative, right?
Yep. So one of the things that we've always done, we've had these Pint Nights, and we've been doing them for about 10 years. And so a lot of people have a collection of logoed glasses in their cupboard. And so when this first started, John was sitting in the house and he was drinking out of one of our many pint glasses. And he's like, we should ask people to see what their pints are doing, since nobody can get out and about. So we ran a quick little I don't know, it was like an online, so what's your Treadz Pint doing? And everybody was posting pictures of their pint glass, you know, like on their deck and different beverages in it. And then we just gave away like a little goodie bag. And so that created a little more momentum. We had originally planned on doing an Earth Day cleanup, and we were partnering with the city of Glenwood Springs and Roaring Fork Outdoor Volunteers, and we're going to do some trail stuff. And so we had already kind of gathered up some swag to give away and have things like that. So we're going ahead and running like an Earth Day promo where people can promote how, you know, post pictures of how they celebrate Earth Day under COVID guidelines, you know, so with like proper distancing, but, you know, getting out and whether it's, you know, cleaning up your favorite bike path, you know, just picking up trash along the way, or just feeling the sun on your face, you know. I mean, I think it's a big part of just giving yourself a little peace and focusing on something that isn't like worrisome, you know, just kind of taking a deep breath and celebrating that.
Right.
And so those are the kind of things that we're trying to do.
That's nice. That's good. I mean, yeah, this is a different time, and to be creative is everything. I think it really is setting a guideline for how our lives will change, how our business will change, but, you know, and get better, actually. So.
Yeah, change is never easy. It's always painful, but it doesn't mean it's not good.
No, exactly. So, is there anything else that I may have forgotten that you'd love to tell this Stay Connected audience?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the big thing is just, you know, we have such an appreciation for this community, and we've had opportunities to bring our store to other places and look at doing that, and it just wouldn't be the same. You know, I couldn't imagine picking up and trying to replicate Treadz somewhere else.
Right.
You know, it really is being a part of this valley, this community, and it's not just Glenwood Springs, it's this whole, I mean, we have people in Eagle that are just as close to us as people here in Glenwood. And so, you know, I love that. So staying connected.
But here, you just reminded me, there's your store next door that Jon runs.
Yes.
And we're gonna be able to visit Jon. He's gonna tell us about that. But tell me how you kind of expanded into that space and why, because it's a different store.
Yep, different store. Another great brand that's doing really good things that kind of, again, you know, perpetuates our core values. Very sustainable business practices, both socially and environmentally. One of the things that they do is their staff, like their distribution staff, they work with individuals who have development disabilities, but give them jobs, and then part of that, I think their proceeds goes back to also providing experiences. So they do travel trips and things like that. And so that's their Planet Access company, which is kind of a side gig that they have.
Nice.
But it's that kind of a out of the box, like unconventional way of doing things that just makes things a little bit more enjoyable, and you want to be a part of that. And so as they were growing and evolving, we realized that we could do more business in representing them.
Wow.
There was not as much retail in our little corner of Glenwood. And so we didn't want that building next door to turn into a real estate office or, you know, something that wasn't going to kind of help create this like good balance downtown. And so we saw opportunity that was, you know, pretty self-serving, but also I think was an asset to the community.
It serves as well. But you guys must come home and have a lot of things to talk about all the time in the common business. Does that get overwhelming?
Do. And we both run both businesses. We have kind of a nice division of labor. But truly when we go home, I'm not going to say we never talk about work, but we try not to. We both love to play tennis. We do that together. We've got 3 dogs and 2 kids, and so there's a lot to talk about there. You know, just projects around the house, just, you want to have that balance. You know, we all need to clock out. And if you're on all the time, I think it could be a big weight on any relationship. And so we learned pretty early on that we each have our areas where we're stronger, and we should focus on that and give each other space and not try and do everything.
Well, I just congratulate you and Jon in your success. I've known you guys. We used to live next door to each other on Cowden there when we were both very just young. And it's so nice to see us grow in this community and have our kids here. And
you watched us bring our first baby home.
Yeah, that's right. My kids are a little older. They were
a little
so
bit,
intrigued by the little baby next door.
Oh man,
it's awesome.
Yeah. So it's a good life, and this is a hard time. it's a hard chapter, but there's better days ahead. I'm faithful.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
very
thank you.
much. So, everyone, thank you for joining us this week. And stop in at Treadz. They got a lot going on. Go online. We'll put the website on there so you can know where to click into to get more information. So, thanks again.